transparent assignment, according to this framework, needs to make three things clear to students: the purpose of the assignment, the task that they need to complete, and the criteria by which they will be evaluated. So starting with purpose, we need to make two things explicit: the skills students will be practicing and developing by completing the assignment, and the knowledge to be gained. We need to make clear to students how the assignment will matter to them after the course is over, 5, 10 years after the course is over. What is the long-term relevance of what students will be learning to their lives? If students know this before beginning the work, it makes a difference to their learning experience. Think back to the passage on doing laundry that we read at the beginning. Think about what a difference it made to know what the purpose of that passage was, how it helped to clarify what was being asked of us. Granted, most of us could likely consider ourselves laundry experts, and our students are learning something new, but it is even more critical when learning something new that we have that context, that purpose in mind in order to give clarity to what we are learning. The task component of an assignment is what we tend to think of first when it comes to making our instructions more clear. In other words, what is it that students need to do? However, we should really carefully consider not just what students need to do, but also how they will do it. What steps do they need to follow in order to successfully complete the assignment? What are common pitfalls or dead ends that students should avoid? What should they focus more on? How should they focus their time? Also, really stop to think about steps that may be hidden or hidden skills students may need in order to complete the assignment. So for example, for any instructor who has graded a writing assignment that requires students to find and integrate sources of information on the topic they are writing about, a big challenge and frustration comes with the issue of unintentional plagiarism and many students' tendency to patch write. Patch writing is when students copy whole sentences or even paragraphs from other sources, word for word, and in a sense, patch them together to make their own writing assignment. This is really frustrating for instructors who know that even when chunks of words borrowed from another source are properly cited, when the source is given credit, patch writing is still considered unprofessional and often misses the point of a writing assignment and can even be considered plagiarism. However, what most instructors who assign writing assignments don't stop to think about, what I myself didn't stop to think about for a long time, is that we never actually teach students how not to patch write. We just tell them not to do it and expect it to happen. In fact, many scholars of writing studies argue that patch writing is a developmental step many students take in the process of learning how to appropriately integrate other sources of information into their own writing. Patch writing is usually a symptom of students' struggle with unfamiliar jargon and concepts in the sources they are asked to integrate into their writing. So the point here is that in any assignment, there may be hidden skills and steps students need to take in order to successfully complete an assignment that we haven't yet considered. Finally, let's talk about criteria, or to be more clear, criteria for success. This could include a checklist of items students should be sure to include or demonstrate in their assignments. It could also be a rubric that is used for grading. However, in order to be effective, these need to be provided in advance so that students can self-evaluate. Also helpful is to describe or even show what excellence looks like. A great way to do this is to provide example assignments completed by students in previous semesters. If you don't already do this, start asking your current students now if you can show a copy of an assignment to a future class. Even better is to annotate those examples to show where those criteria for success are applied. Okay, now that we are familiar with the transparency framework, let's take a look at some of the research conducted by Winklemäss's group. Included in her National Transparency Project were 7 higher education institutions across the country. 35 faculty across those institutions participated, and 1,800 students were included in those classes. Winkle-Miss's group asked instructors to implement a very small intervention to their classes. Specifically, they asked instructors to incorporate the transparency framework into 2 of their already existing assignments. Each faculty member in the project taught 2 class groups of the same course during the same term. One class group received 2 revised assignments according to the transparency framework, and one class group received regular unrevised assignment versions. At the end of the semester, students asked to respond to questions about their learning experiences. What they found based on student responses was that the intervention appeared to boost students' learning in 3 ways: through academic confidence, their sense of belonging, and their self-assessment of skills valued most by employers. These 3 things were specifically targeted in questions asked of students because all 3 are established predictors of student success. Further, academic confidence and sense of belonging have both been shown to be positively correlated with GPA and with higher graduation rates. Grades and retention are considered to be major indicators of student success. And, as I mentioned before, these findings were significant for all student groups, but the benefits were found to be even greater for ethnically underrepresented, first generation, and low-income students. If you'd like to learn more about this work, check out the TILT website. There you can find the project's publications, great examples of before and after assignments from a variety of disciplines, and a template and instructions you can use for your own assignments. There's even a template with questions that you can hand out to students for them to ask of you or other instructors about assignments so that they can then be confident in that they have all of the information they need to successfully complete their assignments.